Have you ever felt like you're not alone in a room or heard a whisper when no one was around? Tonight, we're diving into real-life horror stories, tales so terrifying they'll make you question what's real and what's beyond our understanding. These are not just stories, they're experiences shared by people who lived through them. So, grab a blanket, turn off the lights, and let's begin, if you dare. It was a quiet night in 2017 when Sarah, a college student, decided to stay up late studying. The clock struck 2 a.m. and the house was silent, except for the occasional creak of the old wooden floor. Suddenly, Sarah felt an unusual chill in the air, as if the temperature had dropped in an instant. She pulled her blanket tighter, trying to ignore the feeling. But then, she noticed something. At first, Sarah thought it was her imagination. Maybe her tired eyes were playing tricks on her. But then the shadow moved. It wasn't just a trick of the light. It was a figure, tall and human-like, standing in the corner of her room. Her heart raced as she tried to rationalize what she was seeing. "It's just the coat rack," she told herself. But the coat rack was on the other side of the room. The figure took a step closer, and Sarah could feel its presence, cold, heavy, and suffocating. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. Her body was frozen in fear. The figure reached out, its hand inches from her face, when suddenly, the lights flickered. And just like that, it was gone. Sarah didn't sleep in that room again. To this day, she swears it wasn't a dream. And sometimes, late at night, she still feels that same chill and wonders if the shadow is still watching. In 2015, a group of friends decided to camp in the woods near Blackwater Creek. They'd heard rumors about the forest being haunted, but they laughed it off. "Ghost stories are for kids," they said. But as the sun set and the forest grew darker, they began to feel uneasy. At first, the whispers were faint, like the wind rustling through the trees. But soon, they grew louder, clearer, and closer. The friends exchanged nervous glances. "Did you hear that?" one of them asked. Before anyone could answer, the whispers turned into voices, voices that seemed to be calling their names. One of the friends, Mark, decided to investigate. "I'll check it out," he said, grabbing a flashlight. The others warned him not to go, but Mark was determined. He followed the whispers deeper into the woods, the beam of his flashlight cutting through the darkness. Hours passed, and Mark didn't return. When they finally found Mark, he was standing in a clearing, his eyes blank and unresponsive. "Mark, what happened?" they asked. He turned to them slowly and said, "They told me to stay." Mark was never the same after that night. He refused to talk about what he saw, and he never set foot in the woods again. In 2019, Emma moved into her grandmother's old house. The house was beautiful, but it had a strange energy, a feeling that something wasn't quite right. One night, while getting ready for bed, Emma noticed something strange in the mirror. Her reflection wasn't hers. Emma froze. The reflection smiled at her, a smile that sent chills down her spine. She blinked, and it was gone. "It's just my imagination," she thought. But the next night, it happened again. This time, the reflection reached out, and Emma felt a cold hand grab her wrist. Emma smashed the mirror the next day, but the scratches on her wrist remained. She moved out soon after, but she still avoids mirrors to this day. And sometimes, late at night, she swears she can hear the sound of glass breaking and a faint whisper calling her name. In 2020, during the height of the pandemic, Jessica was alone in her apartment when she heard a knock at the door. She looked through the peephole and saw a man in a black hoodie standing there. He didn't say a word, just stared directly at the peephole, as if he knew she was watching. Jessica called the police, but when they arrived, the man was gone. The next night, he returned, and this time, he had a key. Jessica heard the lock turn, and the door slowly creaked open. She grabbed her phone and ran to the bathroom, locking the door behind her. Jessica managed to escape through the back door, but the man was never caught. To this day, she wonders, how did he get the key, and why was he watching her? In 2018, David received a call from an unknown number. When he answered, he heard his own voice on the other end, whispering, "You're not alone." He hung up, thinking it was a prank, but the calls kept coming. Each time, the voice grew more distorted, more desperate. David searched the house but found nothing. The final call came at 3 a.m. It simply said, "I'm in the house." David moved out the next day, but he still hears the phone ringing in his dreams. And sometimes, late at night, he swears he can hear his own voice whispering, "You're not alone." These stories remind us that sometimes the most terrifying things are the ones we can't explain. If you enjoyed these tales, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more spine-chilling content. And remember, you're never really alone. Want more terrifying true stories? Check out our playlist of real-life horror experiences and let us know in the comments. Have you ever experienced something you couldn't explain? Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.